Chris Gabehart spent 13 years at Joe Gibbs Racing. He was Denny Hamlin's crew chief, one of the most respected names in NASCAR, director of competition, the guy who knew all the team's secrets. When he left for a competitor, everything changed. He photographed sensitive files. He deleted text messages right before a lawsuit. Now the evidence is coming out, and it's explosive. This isn't just about a job change. This is about racing secrets, the kind of information that costs millions to develop, the kind that wins championships. A man trusted for 13 years may have walked out with it, then deleted proof of contact. Federal court is deciding if he gets sidelined for 18 months. In NASCAR, that's a career killer. Technology changes fast. 18 months means you're forgotten. It means you're done. In November 2025, everything changed. On November 6th, Coach Joe Gibbs and Gabehart met. They decided to part ways. The relationship was broken. But what happened next would shake the entire sport. One day later, on November 7th, Gabehart did something suspicious. He took his personal phone and photographed his JGR laptop screen. Not one photo. Not 5 photos. 20 photos. Maybe more. He photographed race setups. He photographed payroll data. He photographed sponsor money. He photographed pit crew analytics. He photographed tire data. Everything valuable. He used his phone instead of taking normal computer screenshots. Why? JGR says because he wanted to hide what he was doing. A week later, on November 13th, Gabehart got an offer. Spire Motorsports wanted him. Spire is a racing team trying to compete against JGR. They wanted Gabehart's brain. They wanted his experience. 2 days after that offer, something crucial happened. On November 15th, Gabehart deleted his text messages, specifically his text with Jeff Dickerson. Dickerson is the co-owner of Spire Motorsports. The texts were gone. That same day, Gabehart created a Google Drive folder called Spire. He accessed it. Inside were files he photographed from JGR setup files, analytics, data. JGR says this is the smoking gun. He deleted the messages because he knew he was doing something wrong. He deleted them to hide evidence of his transition to a competitor. In court, JGR wrote, "There is no innocent explanation for secretly accessing, reviewing, and selectively deleting an employer's confidential files after your employment has ended and you are negotiating with a direct competitor." The timeline raises questions. Photos on November 7th, job offer on November 13th, text deleted and Spire folder accessed on November 15th, all within 9 days. The files Gabehart photographed were not just any documents. According to JGR's allegations, they were the team's most valuable secrets. JGR claims over a dozen sensitive documents were photographed, setup files for race car development. These are worth millions. Teams spend thousands of hours testing and refining every detail, every angle, every spring rate, every suspension adjustment. These files show how JGR makes fast cars, complete team payroll data, employee names, salaries, and contract terms, compensation plans, future salary projections, post-race analysis reports. JGR analyzes every race in detail. They study what worked and what failed, driver performance, pit crew performance, the entire 2025 season documented, sponsor and partner revenue information. What does JGR make from each sponsor? How much does each partnership generate? This is confidential business data. Pit crew analytics. How fast are pit stops? Which crew members are fastest? Data on every single pit stop from 2024. Tire analytics. How do different tires perform on different tracks? What's the data showing tire impact on race results? This information is valuable. It took years to develop. JGR created it through thousands of hours of work. JGR claims it now exists in a folder on Gabehart's personal Google Drive. Gabehart admitted he took the photos, but he says he didn't share them. He says the job offer came suddenly. He says he was just exploring his options. He says there's no proof he used the data at Spire. He claims a forensic examination found no evidence. No text messages were sent. No attachments were transferred. No files were shared. So he says JGR is being unfair. He says JGR is angry because he left. He says this lawsuit is revenge, not protection. Gabehart also says his job at JGR was never what was promised. He says he was supposed to have control over all racing decisions. He says he was promised independence. But Joe Gibbs kept interfering. Joe kept making decisions, especially about Ty Gibbs's car, the number 54. Gabehart says he was pressured to be crew chief for the 54. He didn't want the job, but JGR pushed him, so he did it for 9 races. Then he walked away from that role. Joe Gibbs Racing filed the lawsuit on February 19, 2026. They're suing for over $8 million. They're suing Gabehart. They're also suing Spire Motorsports. JGR says Gabehart stole trade secrets. JGR says Gabehart broke his contract. JGR says Gabehart broke confidentiality agreements. Or JGR says Spire knew he stole the data and hired him anyway. The case is in federal court in North Carolina. Judge Susan C. Rodriguez is hearing the case. On March 3rd, Judge Rodriguez issued a temporary restraining order. This is a partial win for JGR. Gabehart cannot use JGR's information. He cannot share it. He cannot access it. He has to return all JGR materials, but the judge did not force Gabehart to leave Spire. Gabehart can keep his job. He just cannot do the competition director role. That's the job JGR is worried about. If he's doing strategy and analytics at Spire, he could use JGR's secrets. So Gabehart is working at Spire, but he's limited in what he can do. The judge also said the restraining order expires on March 16th. That's when the real hearing happens. That's when a preliminary injunction will be decided. That's when Gabehart might be forced to sit out 18 months. That's when his career might end. The deleted texts are central to JGR's case. Gabehart admitted he deleted them. He admitted they're gone. He said it happened before November 15th. JGR's interpretation: why would an innocent person delete texts with a competitor's co-owner? Why delete them the same week photos were taken? Why delete them the same day he accessed his Spire folder? JGR says this shows consciousness of guilt. It shows he knew what he was doing was wrong. It shows he was hiding evidence. Gabehart's interpretation: the texts were already under forensic examination. He was just cleaning up his personal device. He claims nothing nefarious happened. The court will have to decide who's right. The March 16th hearing granted expedited discovery. Both sides continue to accuse the other. No final ruling exists yet. Both sides present circumstantial evidence, not definitive proof. For Gabehart, everything is uncertain. If the court rules against him, an 18-month ban from competition director work is possible. In NASCAR, that's career damaging. Technology moves fast. 18 months means you're forgotten. You're sidelined during critical innovation. But right now, Gabehart still works at Spire. He's restricted in what he can do. He cannot use JGR information. He cannot access it. But he has a job. His career is not over yet. For JGR, this is about protecting their business. They spend millions developing setups and analytics. If competitors have the same data, JGR's competitive advantage is gone. For Spire, they deny wrongdoing. They signed an NDA with Gabehart preventing him from sharing JGR data. If the court rules against them, enforcement becomes complicated. For NASCAR, this case sets a precedent. It shows what happens when secrets walk out the door. It shows the sport takes data theft seriously. The next key moment is the preliminary injunction hearing. Judge Rodriguez heard arguments around March 16th about whether the temporary restraining order should become permanent. She decided whether to enforce JGR's non-compete clause more broadly. This hearing determines his immediate future. Will the restrictions stay limited? Will he be forced to sit out? Will he ever work in a similar role in NASCAR again? The outcome depends on what the judge believes. Does she believe the deleted texts show consciousness of guilt? Does she believe Gabehart stole the data? Does she believe Spire knew about the allegations? Right now, the case is in the discovery phase. Both sides are gathering evidence. Both sides are presenting their case. The litigation is far from over. A 13-year veteran left his team and took their secrets. He deleted text messages to hide the evidence. Now federal court is deciding his fate. The deleted texts are the smoking gun. They're the controversial moment. They're the reason JGR is winning in court right now. Gabehart sits at his new job at Spire, restricted and waiting. His career is in limbo. His reputation is damaged. The lawsuit is far from over. On March 16th, Judge Rodriguez will decide what comes next. This case will change NASCAR forever.